Hello, this is Mike. I am with Showcase Realty. Today we're going to do our webinar, which is part 3 of our 3-part agent training series on successfully selling HUD homes. This segment we will focus on closings and deadlines for closings with HUD properties. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to go over closing dates for Ofori, Pemco, and Hometellus. First, if you're either an owner-occupant or an investor, you can close in 30 days. Investors, they require 30 days, especially if it's cash. Owner-occupants, you can close in 30 days if you're doing a cash deal also. We'll just note that on the contract. For any type of financing, conventional or FHA, HUD requires 45 days minimum on the contract. You are allowed to close sooner, but it all depends on how your attorney and HUD work together in getting these timelines met. With FHA 203K loans, it is a minimum of 60 days. Again, you can close sooner depending on how quickly your K goes through. Big thing with HUD closings, don't let your contract expire. Request an extension 5 days prior to allow for approval and processing. We'll go over the price for the extensions and how they're, what the time frame is as far as extension times. Again, here's the extensions. You must have a valid reason or HUD may not grant the extension. So get with your lender. If it's a lender reason, make sure they give you a letter. If it is a buyer extension needed due to not qualifying or something like that, please get with HUD and they will make a determination on that. All extensions are paid, are 15-day increments paid up front, and here are the prices and the extension fees. Any extension that any part of the extension that you do not use, say you're in a 15-day extension and the contract closes in 10 days, it will be noted on the HUD and as a refund back to the buyer. Big thing with HUD closings to know is home inspection utilities. When you're doing your inspections, each field service manager has their own process for activating utilities. Currently, we use PK management, or HUD uses PK management, and especially in the winterization periods during the winter, utilities can only stay on for 3 days, 72 hours. So when you're getting these utilities turned on, you're getting authorization from PK management for those to be turned on. And once you have that authorization, you have 72 hours to get your inspections, any appraisal that you may need, and anything you need to do as far as utility related to the home done. And then PK management will automatically come out and turn those, re-winterize their house basically after the 72 hours. All inspections must be performed by a professional inspector, and buyer is responsible for the cost of utility services. They will be set up in buyer's name for HUDs, so just an FYI on that. Buyer also understands that they are responsible for all expenses resulting from a systems check, including repairs or damage of the property to the property if necessary. That meaning that if something was turned on and there were damages done to the property while it was under your contract, then your buyer may be responsible for any damages incurred. So just be very careful. Make sure you follow PK management's instructions on what can be turned on and what can't be turned on. Also check your property condition report, as in many cases they will tell you if the plumbing failed to hold pressure, or if there's an air conditioning issue or something preventing the property to have a utility turned on. Just please make sure you check that property condition report and follow PK management's instructions. Vandalism. If you're under contract and vandalism happens, the big thing is, as a buyer's agent, is to go have dated pictures of what vandalism happened, so you can send those to your closing contact with your HUD asset manager. They will not take verbal. They need photographs for HUD. We will also send one of our field service companies out there, or field servicing managers, to go out there and take photographs. But please do your own due diligence in getting the stuff over to HUD so they can make a determination on vandalism. They, in most cases, will allow you to continue on with the contract as is or terminate the contract based on the vandalism. In some cases, HUD may, if you're doing an FHA, they may escrow for more or less. If an HVAC unit is stolen, they may do a diminished value in escrow. But again, that's a case-by-case basis determined by HUD themselves. If you do decide to terminate the contract due to vandalism, your EMD will be refunded by HUD. These are your last steps before closing, and these are big steps to watch. The big thing here is 5 days prior to close. You must, if your closing date and your expiration date is on a certain date, 5 days prior to that, you have to get with your attorney and make sure that they have sent the HUD completed closing package, or this will delay closing. So again, make yourself a timeline on your Outlook or wherever you do your email, and just make a reminder for you 5 days prior to check with your attorney and make sure that they have your closing package to HUD. And if they do not, you're going to want to go ahead and get an extension, because knowing that you have your extension date coming up, deadline date, they will not extend unless you send them the extension form. So just make sure you're on top of that 5 days prior. The second thing to do is when you have your attorney has sent your package to HUD and they have verified that you're good to close on your closing date, verify with the attorney that they have the earnest money in their possession, so they can go ahead and there's no surprises at closing saying that we don't have the funds to close. That's very important to get these closed timely. Second is please do a final walkthrough and prepare the buyer to change locks after closing. Final walkthrough, again, is just checking for vandalism, because with HUD homes, with the multiple people that can have access to these, please check with your buyer and do a final walkthrough. Number 4 is prior to closing. These are basically what HUD requires the keys to be done, the key closing instructions here. Basically, prior to closing, verify the HUD key is in the lockbox, and verify the lockbox combo so you can have access to that combo box to open the home for your buyer. HUD keys are HUD's possession, and they want those returned at closing. So what you as an agent have to do is, once you close, you bring your buyer to the property, you open the lockbox, open the door for them, and then at that point, your buyer has to change the locks on the home, as again, the locks and the combos and the keys are all possession of HUD's, and they want those returned. If it's on a super box, they will be picked up prior to closing. So just make sure that you as a buyer's agent have retrieved the key out of the super box. I also recommend that for combo boxes, just so at closing you guys know you are in possession of the key. And then you can go to the home and let your buyer in. And then what you can do is you put the key back in the box, have your buyer take off the locks, and set them aside and notify us where they're going to be, and we will pick them up post-closing. Again, the home must be immediately rekeyed after closing in the agent's presence. Again, that is not a requirement of showcase, that is a requirement of HUD. And in closing, sites to know with a lot of valuable information are the HUDHomestore.com, HUDPEMCO.com, OFORIREO.com, and HomeTellUsFirst.com. These are all of the HUD's current asset manager sites and the HUD site, and they all have a lot of important information for you if you go there to look for their forms and look what they have as far as information. And with that, that includes our part 3 of our 3-part series on successfully selling HUD homes. I am Mike Miniaci with Showcase Realty. Thanks for attending.